Hey, English learners. Welcome back to Leap English Podcast by Mr. English Fluent Tutor. I am Anna.
And I am Abel, ready for another great conversation today.
Abel, I have a question that I think many of our listeners are wondering about right now.
I am all ears, Anna. What is it?
When you hear the phrase building self-worth, what is the very first thought that pops into your head?
Honestly, Anna, my first thought is that it means being really proud of yourself. Like you have to win big awards at work or become super successful. Or maybe it means you think you're better than everyone else around you. That is kind of what I always imagined self-worth was about.
Oh, I love that you said that, Abel, because so many people think exactly the same thing. But here is the gentle truth. Self-worth is actually very quiet and very peaceful. It simply means you know you have value as a human being just because you exist. It is not about trophies or being better than anyone.
Wow, that is such a different way of looking at it. So it is not about comparing yourself to other people at all. It's more like an inner feeling you carry inside yourself every single day. That sounds much calmer than what I was imagining before. I really like that idea, Anna.
Exactly, Abel, and that's such a great way to put it. It's also about treating your own mistakes with kindness instead of harsh judgment. And it means setting healthy boundaries in your daily life. You do not say yes to everything just to make others happy while making yourself miserable.
Right, and that is something so many of us struggle with in real life. We say yes to things we don't really want to do because we're afraid people will not like us if we say no. I've definitely done that many times myself. So building self-worth really starts with being honest about your own needs.
That makes so much sense, Abel. And you're so right. Being honest about your needs is one of the first steps. And today, we're going to take this whole idea apart piece by piece. We're going to use some really lovely, simple pictures and stories to help everything feel easy and natural to understand.
I am genuinely excited about this conversation today, Anna. I feel like this topic touches something really personal for a lot of our learners. Because everyone, no matter where they're from or what language they speak, wants to feel good about themselves. And it's nice to know there are simple ways to get there.
Absolutely, Abel. And that's the beautiful part. You do not need a university degree in psychology to start building self-worth. You just need a few simple ideas and a little bit of daily practice. So let's jump right in with our very first picture, which is one of my personal favorites to share.
Oh, I love when you share your analogies, Anna. Please go ahead. I'm ready to listen carefully, and I'm sure our listeners are leaning in right now, too. What is the first picture you want to paint for us today?
So imagine you're holding a fresh, cold bottle of water. That bottle of water represents your inner sense of self-respect and personal energy. Every single time you say yes to something that you truly dislike just to make another person feel comfortable, you're pouring that precious water right onto the floor.
Oh, wow. I love that picture, Anna. So the water isn't going into anyone else's bottle, it's just being wasted. It's just falling down and disappearing onto the ground. That means you're losing your own energy and your own sense of worth without even helping anyone else properly. Am I understanding that right?
You are understanding it 100%, Abel. The water just splashes onto the ground and is gone. And over time, if you keep doing that again and again, your bottle becomes completely empty. You feel exhausted, resentful, and disconnected from yourself. But saving your water means honoring your personal limits every single day.
That really hits home, Anna. I think about times when I've agreed to do things I really didn't want to do, and I remember feeling so drained afterwards, like something was just taken out of me. Now I understand why. I was pouring my own water onto the floor instead of keeping it safe inside my bottle.
Exactly. And that feeling of being drained is your inner self sending you a very important signal. It's telling you that a boundary has been crossed. And a boundary, which is one of our key words for today, simply means a personal limit. It's an invisible line that protects your time, energy, and emotional health.
That makes so much sense, Anna. So a boundary isn't a wall that keeps people out in a mean way. It's more like a gentle fence that keeps your garden safe and healthy.
Like if someone asks you to do something that makes you feel uncomfortable, saying no kindly is actually a healthy boundary. I like that framing a lot.
Oh, that is such a perfect way to describe it, Abel. A gentle fence is exactly the right image. And here's a simple sentence for our listeners. You can say something like, I need to set a boundary here because I'm feeling really overwhelmed. That sentence is natural, clear, and very easy for a beginner to practice.
I love that sentence example, Anna. And boundaries aren't just about saying no at work or with friends. They also apply to how you talk to yourself inside your own mind. Like if your inner voice is constantly criticizing you, setting a mental boundary means choosing not to believe every harsh thought you have about yourself.
Yes, 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 Abel. That is such an important point. Our inner voice can sometimes be the harshest critic of all. And that leads us beautifully into our second simple picture for today, which is all about the windows we choose to look through. Let me explain what I mean by that.
Oh, I'm very curious about this one, Anna. Windows are something I can picture really clearly. Please tell me more about how windows connect to self-worth. I want to understand this one deeply because it sounds really meaningful, and I think our listeners will love it too.
So imagine a room with two windows. The first window has cloudy, dirty glass. When you look through that window, everything outside looks gray and blurry. That cloudy window represents insecurity. When you look through it, you believe your value only exists when other people praise you, approve of you, or tell you that you're doing a good job.
Oh, wow, that is such a clear image, Anna. So if you only see your worth through other people's eyes, it's like looking through dirty glass. The picture you get is never fully clear or accurate. You're depending on other people's opinions to feel good, and that's a really unstable place to live your life from. That makes complete sense to me.
Exactly, Abel. And now here's the second window in that same room. This window has clean, clear glass, and when you look through it, you see a beautiful green garden outside. That green garden window represents inner recognition. It means you learn to see your own quiet strengths, and you celebrate your own daily progress without waiting for someone else to do it for you.
I absolutely love that, Anna. The green garden window. So instead of waiting for someone to compliment me or approve of my work, I can look inward and say, hey, I worked really hard today. I tried my best and that matters. That kind of self-recognition is its own form of nourishment, just like sunlight is for a garden. That's a beautiful connection.
Beautifully said, Abel. And this connects directly to our next keyword for today, which is the word value. Value simply means how important or worthy something is. And when we talk about self-value or self-worth, we mean the importance and dignity that you carry as a person, not because of what you achieve, but simply because of who you are.
That is such a simple and powerful definition, Anna. And here's an example sentence our listeners can practice with. You can say, I have value as a person, even when I make mistakes. That sentence is short, clear, and it really challenges that voice inside us that says we're only worth something when we perform perfectly. I love simple sentences like that.
Oh, that is a wonderful example sentence, Abel. And speaking of mistakes, I want to gently ask our listeners something right now. Think about how you speak to yourself when you make a small mistake. Do you speak to yourself the way you would speak to a good friend? Or do you use much harsher words than you would ever use with someone you love?
That is such a powerful question, Anna. And honestly, most people are much kinder to their friends than they are to themselves. When a friend makes a mistake, we say things like, that is okay, you tried your best, you will do better next time. But when we make the same mistake, we say, how could you be so stupid? That double standard is really worth noticing.
Exactly, Abel. And that double standard is something we're going to address with our next simple idea, which I love to call the clean knife. Now, when I say clean knife, I mean something very specific. So let me paint that picture clearly before we move forward, because it is a surprisingly simple and very useful concept.
I am intrigued by the clean knife idea, Anna. It sounds like something that could really cut through a lot of unnecessary confusion. Go ahead and explain it for me and for our listeners. I want to make sure we all understand this one completely before moving on to the next thing.
Perfect. So imagine your mind is like a kitchen. Sometimes we fill that kitchen with so many complicated tools and gadgets and rules that it becomes incredibly messy and hard to work in. The clean knife analogy says instead of cramming your head with complicated psychological theories, just choose one clear, simple standard for how you treat yourself every day.
Oh, I love that so much, Anna. Keep it simple. One clear standard. And I'm guessing that standard is something like the golden rule, but pointed inward. Instead of treating others how you want to be treated, you treat yourself how you would treat your dearest and most beloved friend. Is that the sharp, clean standard you're describing?
Yes, that is exactly it, Abel. That is the clean knife. One clear, sharp rule. Treat yourself with the exact same warmth, patience, and encouragement that you would give to someone you truly love and care about. When you keep that one rule clean and clear, you don't need 100 other complicated guidelines. Just that one is enough.
That makes so much sense, Anna. And I think for language learners especially, keeping things simple and clear is so important. We already have so much to learn and practice every single day, so having one clean standard for self-kindness means we aren't adding more pressure. We're actually reducing the mental noise and making life a little bit easier.
Beautifully said, Abel, and mental noise is exactly the right phrase. All those critical thoughts running through your head, the you're not good enough thoughts, the you'll never be successful thoughts, those thoughts create fog, and fog makes it hard to see clearly or move forward with confidence. The clean knife cuts right through that fog with one warm, simple truth.
I really feel that, Anna. And this connects to something I want to bring up because I think a lot of our listeners will recognize this feeling immediately. I have this inner voice that sometimes says things like, I'm not confident enough, I'm not talented enough, I'm not worthy enough. And it can feel so heavy and so discouraging to hear that voice so often.
Oh, Abel, thank you so much for sharing that so openly. I know so many of our listeners feel the exact same way. And here's one of the most magical, simple little tricks I know for dealing with that voice. It involves just one tiny little word, just one single small word that completely changes the meaning of everything that critical voice says.
Oh, wow. Now I'm very curious, Anna. One word. Please tell me what that word is because I feel like our listeners are on the edge of their seats right now wanting to know. What is this one little word that can make such a difference when that inner critical voice starts getting loud and unkind?
The word is yet. That's it. Just yet. So instead of your inner voice saying, I'm not confident, you say, I'm not confident yet. Instead of saying, I'm not talented enough, you say, I'm not talented enough yet. That tiny little word opens a door where before there was only a wall. It turns a full stop into a continuing path.
Oh, wow. I love that so much, Anna. The word yet is like a bridge. It takes you from a place that feels finished and hopeless to a place that feels open and possible. I'm not good at English yet. I haven't found my confidence yet. It doesn't mean I never will. It just means I'm still on the journey. That is such a gentle shift in thinking.
Exactly, Abel. And that shift in thinking connects to another beautiful keyword we want to review today, which is the word growth. Growth simply means the process of developing and improving over time. And in the context of self-worth, growth is not about becoming a completely different person. It is about gently becoming more fully yourself, one small step at a time.
That is such a calming definition, Anna. Growth is not a race. It is not a competition. It is just a quiet, steady process that happens when you give yourself permission to learn and to try. And here's a simple sentence our listeners can use. You can say, I am proud of my growth, even when the steps are small. That sentence feels so good to say out loud.
It really does feel good, Abel. And that brings us to another wonderful idea that I think our listeners will find very freeing and very comforting. It is the idea that you do not need to build your self-worth or your confidence all at once. You do not need to wake up one morning and suddenly feel completely secure and unshakable. That is not how it works at all.
Right. And I think a lot of people put that kind of pressure on themselves, Anna. They say, I need to fix everything about myself this week or this month. And when they do not see huge changes right away, they feel like failures. But that is not fair to yourself.
Change takes time, and that is perfectly and completely okay. We need to hear that more often.
Yes, and I love to think about this using the image of stepping stones and small coins in your pocket. Picture a wide river in front of you. On the other side of that river is a more peaceful, confident version of yourself. You do not leap the whole river in one jump. You cross it one stepping stone at a time, one small step every single day.
Oh, I love the stepping stones picture, Anna. And you said something about small coins in your pocket, too. Can you tell me more about that part? Because I want to understand how coins connect to self-worth. That combination of stepping stones and coins sounds really rich and interesting, and I want to make sure I picture it completely.
Of course, Abel. So think of every small act of self-kindness as a little coin that you drop into your pocket. Saying something encouraging to yourself in the morning? That's one coin. Resting when your body tells you it is tired instead of pushing through? That's another coin. Choosing not to compare yourself to someone else online today? That's another coin dropped in.
That makes so much sense, Anna. So you are building your self-worth gradually, coin by coin, day by day, and those small coins add up over time into something much larger and more solid. You don't need a huge, dramatic moment of self-discovery. You just need consistent, small choices that say, I respect myself, and I am worth taking care of. That's a really peaceful approach.
Beautifully put, Abel. And the word respect just came up naturally in what you said, and it's one of our key words for today. Respect means treating someone or something with care and serious consideration. And self-respect means applying that same level of care directly to yourself. It means your feelings, your time, your health, and your needs all genuinely matter.
That is such an important definition, Anna. And I think a lot of people confuse self-respect with selfishness, but they are completely different things. Being selfish means you don't care about other people at all, but having self-respect just means you also include yourself in the circle of people whose needs matter. You care for others and you care for yourself. Both things can be true at the same time.
Yes, 100% able. Both things can absolutely be true at the same time. And that connects to our next keyword, which is the word dignity. Dignity is a beautiful word. It means the quality of being worthy of honor and respect. And everyone, every single human being on this earth is born with dignity. It does not have to be earned. It just is.
Oh, I love that definition so much, Anna. Dignity is not something you have to achieve or prove. It's something you already have simply by being a person. And here's a sentence our listeners can practice. You can say, I treat myself with dignity because I deserve to be treated with care. That sentence is gentle, but it's also really strong and confident at the same time.
That is a perfect practice sentence, Abel. And dear listener, I want to invite you to take one slow, comfortable breath right now as we reach this part of the conversation. Just breathe in gently and breathe out slowly. And as you breathe out, let yourself receive that simple truth that Abel just shared. You already have dignity. You were born with it.
That is such a lovely moment, Anna, and I think our listeners deserve that kind of gentle pause in the middle of learning, because absorbing new ideas takes energy, and giving yourself permission to slow down and breathe is itself a small act of self-worth. You are telling yourself, my peace matters, my comfort while learning matters. That is beautiful.
It really is, Abel. And speaking of slowing down, I want to introduce one of my absolute favorite ideas in this whole conversation today. It's something I call the slow friend analogy, and it's a really tender and reassuring picture. So let me take a moment to describe it clearly and warmly for everyone who is listening right now.
Yes, please, Anna. I can already feel that this one is going to be really special. The phrase slow friend already makes me feel calm just hearing it. Please take all the time you need to describe this image, because I think it's going to be really meaningful for a lot of people who feel like they are not changing fast enough or growing fast enough in their lives.
So imagine you're walking along a quiet, peaceful afternoon road. You're just walking gently at your own comfortable pace. And somewhere behind you on that road, there's a slow friend. This friend is warm, steady, and full of genuine peace. This friend represents deep inner stability and true self-worth. And this friend is always walking towards you.
Oh, wow, Anna, I already love this picture so much. So the slow friend is not in a rush. The slow friend is not sprinting to catch up with you. The friend is just consistently, calmly, steadily moving forward down the road. And eventually, because you are not frantically running ahead looking for validation from other people, the friend catches up and walks beside you. Is that right?
That is exactly right, Abel. You said it so beautifully. When you stop frantically running toward external approval, when you stop measuring your worth by likes, compliments, promotions, and other people's opinions, you naturally slow down your pace. And that slow, steady friend named inner peace and genuine self-worth catches up and walks right beside you on the road.
Mm-hmm. That makes so much sense, Anna. And I think in today's world especially, we are all running so fast. Social media makes us feel like we need to be achieving things constantly and showing them off constantly. But real self-worth is quieter than that. It does not need to be announced or performed. It just walks beside you on a quiet afternoon road. I find that image so comforting.
It is deeply comforting, Abel, and the word that comes to mind here is our next key word for today, which is validation. Validation means receiving approval, recognition, or confirmation from someone else that your feelings or actions are acceptable and good. And seeking some validation from others is completely normal and human. But when validation becomes your only source of self-worth, that is when problems begin.
That is such an important distinction, Anna. Wanting someone to say you did a good job is completely natural. We all enjoy hearing that. But if you completely fall apart and feel worthless every time someone does not praise you, then you are letting outside voices control your inner world. And that is a really fragile and unstable place to try to live from every single day.
Exactly, Abel. And here's a really freeing idea that goes hand in hand with what you just said. There is no hidden judge sitting behind the sofa in your living room. There is no invisible teacher standing in the corner of your bedroom giving you grades on your personality, your choices, your emotional reactions, or your imperfect days. That judge simply does not exist.
Ah, that is such a funny and freeing image, Anna. No teacher behind the sofa grading me. That actually makes me laugh a little, because I think I have been living as if there was a secret score being kept somewhere. Like somewhere there is a big book with all my embarrassing moments and mistakes written down in red pen. But that book does not exist. Nobody is keeping score.
Nobody is keeping score, Abel, and that is such a wonderfully freeing truth. Living authentically and imperfectly is more than enough. Your clumsy days, your confused moments, your times when you said the wrong thing or made the wrong choice, those moments are not permanent marks against you. They're just part of being a beautifully human and wonderfully imperfect person.
I really needed to hear that today, Anna. And I think so many of our listeners needed to hear it too. We put so much pressure on ourselves to be perfect, to always say the right thing, to always make the right decision. But perfection is not what self-worth is about. Self-worth is about being okay with yourself, even in the messy middle of learning and growing. That is such a relief.
It truly is a relief, Abel, and I want to stay with that idea for just one more moment, because I think it connects directly to how we treat ourselves as language learners, too. When you make a grammar mistake in English, or when you can't find the right word, or when your pronunciation is not perfect, that's not a sign that you're failing, that's a sign that you're learning.
Mm-hmm. That makes so much sense, Anna. And making mistakes in English is not something to feel ashamed about. Every single person who speaks English fluently made thousands of mistakes on their way to fluency. Every single one. The mistakes are not the problem. The problem is when we let the fear of mistakes stop us from trying at all. That fear is the real barrier, not the mistakes themselves.
Beautifully said, Abel. The fear is the barrier, not the mistakes. And this connects to our next keyword for today, which is confidence. Confidence means believing in your own ability to do something. And confidence in language learning, just like confidence in life, is not something you have before you start. It's something you build by starting, trying, failing, trying again, and keeping going consistently.
That is such a perfect definition, Anna. Confidence is built by doing, not by waiting until you feel ready. And here's a simple practice sentence our listeners can say to themselves: I am building my confidence one conversation at a time. That sentence is honest, it's encouraging, and it's completely true. Every conversation you have in English, including listening to this podcast right now, is building your confidence.
I love that sentence so much, Abel. And just hearing you say it makes me want to remind our listeners about something really important. The fact that you're here right now, listening to this conversation, choosing to spend your time learning and growing, that's already an act of self-worth. You're saying to yourself, my development matters, my growth matters, I am worth investing in.
That is so true, Anna. And I think sometimes we forget to give ourselves credit for the things we are already doing. We only notice what we have not done yet or what we still need to improve. But taking a moment to say, hey, I showed up today, I listened, I tried, that's worth acknowledging. That's worth celebrating in a quiet, gentle way. Small celebrations matter so much.
They matter enormously, Abel. And dear listener, here's a little challenge for you as we move through this conversation together. Think of one thing you've done this week, even something very small, that you're genuinely proud of. It could be making a phone call in English, or cooking a meal, or helping a friend, or simply getting out of bed on a hard day. Whatever it is, it counts.
I love that gentle challenge, Anna. And I want to do it too. This week, I'm proud that I kept showing up to do things even when I felt uncertain and a little nervous. That's something I want to acknowledge about myself. Just showing up consistently even when it's not easy is something worth being proud of. I think a lot of our listeners can relate to that feeling.
Absolutely, Abel. Showing up is everything. And now I want to gently bring us back to the room with two windows for just a moment, because I want to add one more layer to that picture that I think will make it feel even more complete and even more practical for our listeners to use in their daily lives and daily routines.
Oh yes, please bring us back to that image, Anna. I really loved the two windows picture, and I feel like I could sit inside that room and think about it for a long time. What is the extra layer you want to add? I'm fully listening, and I think our listeners will really appreciate this addition to the picture we already created together earlier.
So earlier we talked about shifting your gaze from the cloudy window to the green garden window, and that's the first step. But here's the additional layer. Once you're looking through the green garden window, I want you to notice what you see there in that garden, because the garden is not empty. The garden is full of things you've planted yourself over time through your daily choices and efforts.
Oh, that is such a rich addition to the picture, Anna. So the garden represents all the small acts of self-kindness and self-respect that you have been practicing. Every kind word you said to yourself is a flower in the garden. Every boundary you held is a strong, healthy tree. Every time you chose rest over guilt, that is a patch of soft green grass. I love that layered image so much.
Exactly, Abel. The garden is yours, and you are the one who grows it with your daily choices, and nobody else can tend your garden for you. Other people can admire it, they can compliment it, they can even sometimes help you water it. But ultimately, you are the gardener of your own inner world, and that is a really empowering and beautiful responsibility to carry.
That makes so much sense, Anna. And being the gardener of your own inner world means you have to show up for it consistently. Not perfectly, but consistently. Some days you water the garden well and everything looks beautiful. Other days you are tired and the garden gets a little dry, but you keep coming back. You keep choosing to care for it. That consistency is what builds lasting self-worth over time.
Beautifully expressed, Abel. And that consistency connects back to our stepping stones and coins idea from earlier. Every day that you show up for yourself, even imperfectly, you are placing another small coin in your pocket. You're putting another stone under your foot as you cross that wide, open river. And before you know it, you are on the other side, and the journey itself has changed you.
That is so poetic and true, Anna. And I think one of the most important things to remember is that you do not have to be on the other side of the river to have worth right now. You have worth exactly where you are standing, on this stepping stone, in this moment, in this chapter of your life. Your value is not waiting for you at the destination. It is with you right here and right now.
Ugh, that is one of the most important things you have said in this entire conversation, Abel. Your worth is not waiting for you at the destination. It is with you right now. Please, dear listener, let that land for a moment. Let it settle into your heart. You do not have to earn your way to worthiness. You are already worthy, right now, exactly as you are today.
I feel that so deeply, Anna. And I want to take a moment to acknowledge something beautiful. The fact that we can have this kind of conversation in English, mixing learning with real human truth and emotional depth, that is what I love most about what we do here on Leap English Podcast. We are not just learning grammar, we're learning how to be kinder to ourselves and to each other. That matters so much.
It matters more than I can say, Abel, and I am so grateful for every single listener who spends their precious time with us here. Now let us take a moment to make sure we have really captured all 7 of our key words from today in a way that feels clear and solid before we move into our final reflections and closing thoughts together.
Yes, let us do that, Anna. So we've covered the word value, which means how important and worthy you are as a person just because you exist. We talked about dignity, which is the quality of deserving honor and respect that every human being has from birth. And we talked about boundary, which is a personal limit that protects your energy and emotional well-being from being drained away.
Perfect, Abel. And then we also explored the word validation, which is the approval and recognition we sometimes seek from other people, and which is healthy in small doses, but harmful when it becomes our only source of self-worth. We talked about respect, which means treating yourself and others with genuine care and serious consideration. These are all such meaningful words that connect directly to daily life.
That makes so much sense, Anna. And the final 2 words are confidence and growth. Confidence is the belief in your own ability to do something, and it grows stronger every time you try and keep going even after a setback. And growth is the beautiful, ongoing process of becoming more fully yourself over time, one small day, one small coin, one small stepping stone at a time.
Yes, yes, yes. All 7 words are so perfectly connected to today's topic. And dear listener, I want to encourage you to pick just one of these 7 words and write it on a small piece of paper and put it somewhere you will see it every morning. Let it remind you of something important about how you see yourself and how you want to treat yourself going forward.
Oh, I love that simple, practical suggestion, Anna. Small, visible reminders are such a powerful way to keep new ideas alive in your daily life. And here's a beautiful thing to notice about all 7 of those words. Not one of them is about being perfect. Not one of them says you have to be the best or the most successful person in the room. They are all about being genuinely and authentically yourself.
That is so well observed, Abel. And authentically is a wonderful word that connects to everything we've discussed today. Being authentic means being real and genuine, not performing a version of yourself for other people's approval. And when you are authentic, when you let yourself be seen as you really are, including your doubts and imperfections, that's actually when real connection and real confidence begin to grow.
That makes so much sense, Anna. And authenticity is so much less exhausting than performing. Performing a version of yourself for other people takes so much energy. But being yourself, even when it feels a little vulnerable and a little uncertain, that is where real peace lives. And real peace is what allows self-worth to root itself deeply and grow strong inside you over time.
Beautifully put, Abel. Real peace is where self-worth roots itself. I love that image. And I want to check in with our dear listeners one more time right now. We're getting close to the end of our conversation today, and I just want to gently ask you this. What is one small thing you can do for yourself today, just today, to drop one coin of self-kindness into your pocket?
That is such a wonderful question to sit with, Anna. It doesn't have to be something big or impressive. Maybe it's saying something gentle to yourself when you feel frustrated. Maybe it's going for a short walk and just breathing in some fresh air. Maybe it's turning off your phone for 30 minutes and just being quiet and still with yourself. Even those small things count enormously.
They count so much, Abel. And now I would love for you to bring us home with a beautiful summary of everything we explored together today. Because I think our listeners deserve to hear all of these ideas pulled together in a warm, clear, memorable way before we say goodbye. Take it away and let it flow naturally.
With absolute joy, Anna. Today we explored what self-worth truly means, and we learned that it is not about pride, achievement, or being better than anyone else. It is a quiet, steady inner knowing that you have value simply because you are a human being. We use the bottle of water to understand why honoring your boundaries protects your precious inner energy instead of letting it pour away onto the floor. We walked through a room with 2 windows and chose to look through the clean glass of the green garden window, recognizing our own quiet strengths in daily progress instead of depending on other people's praise to feel worthy. We collected small coins of self-kindness through daily acts like kind self-talk, chosen rest, and gentle boundaries, crossing the river of growth one stepping stone at a time. We used the clean knife standard, choosing one simple, clear rule. Treat yourself with the same warmth and patience you give to your dearest friend. We discovered the magic of the word yet, which transforms painful self-criticism into an open, living path of gentle discovery and continuous growth. We remembered that there is no hidden teacher behind the sofa keeping score of our imperfect days, and we gave ourselves permission to live authentically and clumsily and fully. And we walked alongside the slow friend who was always steadily catching up to us, the deep inner peace and genuine self-worth that finds us when we stop frantically running after everyone else's approval. These are the simple, practical human truths that can quietly transform the way you see yourself every single day.
Abel, that was absolutely gorgeous. I feel like I need to take another deep breath after all of that beauty. Thank you so much for pulling all of those threads together so warmly and so clearly. And now, dear listener, it is your turn to add your voice to our community. And I truly love this part of every episode we create for you.
Yes, please join in, dear listener. Your voice absolutely matters here, and we genuinely want to hear from you. Drop a comment below and share with us one quality or one effort that you truly appreciate about yourself today. It does not have to be something big. Maybe it is your patience or your kindness or the fact that you showed up to listen and learn today. Whatever it is, we want to celebrate it with you.
Yes, share it with us in the comments. Practicing self-recognition out loud, even in writing, is itself a powerful act of building your self-worth. You're seeing yourself clearly, naming what you value about yourself, and putting it into words in English. That is language learning and self-growth happening at exactly the same time. We are so proud of every single one of you who is on this journey with us.
And we really mean that, Anna. Every listener who is here, every person who showed up today to learn and to grow, you are doing something genuinely brave and genuinely meaningful. Learning a new language takes courage. Working on how you see yourself takes courage. And you are doing both at the same time. That is something worth taking a quiet moment to appreciate about yourself today and every day.
Abel, I could not agree more. And on that warm and encouraging note, I think it is time for us to say goodbye for today. But before we do, just know that we will be right back here next time with another meaningful, slow-paced, deeply enjoyable conversation that helps you grow both in English and in your inner world. We are so happy you are here with us today.
It has been an absolute pleasure, as always, Hannah. And to every single listener out there,
Keep going. Keep showing up. Keep speaking. Keep trying. Keep being kind to yourself on the hard days and celebratory on the good ones. Your journey is worth every single step, no matter how small or slow those steps may feel right now. We believe in you completely and always.
Until next time, keep learning, keep growing, and keep speaking with confidence and ease. This is Anna.
And this is Abel, and you have been listening to the Leap English podcast by Mr. English Fluent Tutor. Bye-bye. Take care.
And hey, before you go, make sure you click on the next video waiting for you right now. Your English journey and your self-growth journey are just getting started, and the best conversation might be just one click away. We'll see you there.